Hello everybody, my name is NCSO7 and welcome back to Forgotten Corner, the series where I go through games that just aren't talked about that much. Whether for good or bad reasons, anything goes. And today, we're going to take a look at the Mario sports games. Now, you've probably seen and played them before: tennis, golf, soccer, and even baseball, all as their own separate games. But what if you could combine 4 sports into one game? Well, then you have Mario Sports Mix for the Wii. This game, despite having that many sports in there and being on a pretty popular system, it's really not talked about much within the Mario community, or much at all in general. So I figured I'd talk about it today because it is a bit of a childhood favorite of mine. So without further delay, let's begin. There really isn't much to cover for this section, so I guess let's just make it brief. This would be the third game that would be made by Nintendo and Square Enix, with Super Mario RPG and Mario Hoops 3-on-3 being the previous two, and the game would release in 2010 for Japan and early 2011 for the rest of the world. In terms of the unused content, there isn't that much. There's an unused boss based on the Behemoth from the Final Fantasy games, and it has some animations, though it wasn't included in the game for some reason, as well as 2 scrap stages, one being Crystal Grand, possibly based on the Great Crystal from Final Fantasy XII, and Super Mario Galaxy, which is the name of the stage, which the stage was going to probably be based off of something from that game. The game's internal name is Mario Sports Wii. I'm sorry, there really isn't much to say here. When I do these sections, there's not always going to be a lot, but I figure I'd still throw it in there anyways because, you know, the more you know. Okay, let's get to the actual review though. So as for the visuals, the game looks pretty good. Considering it's a Wii game and it's a Mario game, it isn't going to be crazy, but it looks good. Performance is also very smooth across all different game modes, so yeah. Seriously, there really isn't much to say. It's a Mario game on the Wii. It looks fine. Okay, let's get into the actually interesting stuff. Like I said before, this game is split into 4 different sports: basketball, dodgeball, volleyball, and hockey. As for how each game plays, well, they play like their respective sport, of course. But of course, there's the Mario flair in there. You can pick up items that can be used to get more points, and after enough buildup, you can use your special move, which can almost guarantee a successful point, or shot, or whatever. There are some differences with the characters in terms of their stats, but you can still play with basically anyone you want without too much hassle. Speaking of the characters, the roster for this game is actually pretty good, as there's not really that much filler at all. Also, since this game was partially made by Square Enix, there's some Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy characters like the Slime and Moogle that are playable, which is pretty cool. I will say the sport I played the most of is volleyball, but to be honest, the other sports are way better, especially with friends. While there isn't that much to this game to do by yourself, if you have friends, this game can be loads of fun, as I played this game a lot with my friends over 10 years ago. Super Dude 3 and Mad Dog Beast 18 specifically. I'd say overall, there's enough variety that each game can be fun, and if you get bored of one sport, you can always play another one. Overall, the gameplay is pretty solid. Now, I have touched on this a little, so let's go through the amount of content this game offers. So there's 4 sports to play through. You can do tournaments, which can help you unlock stuff, such as characters and stages, though it can be annoying is that when you unlock a character or stage for a specific sport, so say you want to use Slime in any sport, if you unlock him in basketball, you also have to unlock him 3 other times for the other sports. That's honestly kind of stupid if you ask me. There's also some party modes where they change things up a bit for the main sports that I personally never really played, and that's honestly it. While it may seem like there isn't that much to the game, that's because there isn't much. But that won't matter when you're playing in multiplayer and having a blast, so I guess it isn't too bad. And to be completely honest, every sport in this game has more content than future Mario sports games, this one in particular. But if you don't have many friends, this game really doesn't have much to offer. So overall, the content in this game really depends on how many friends you have, so I guess a better reason to make some new friends, if anything. Now before we finish, let's quickly go over the music. The music of this game is honestly really good. Since this game is pretty slept on in the first place, so was the soundtrack, and man, there are some great bops in here. The menu theme and Bowser Jr. Boulevard theme instantly come to mind when thinking of my personal favorites, but there really isn't any music that isn't at the very least decent. Now yeah, it's not the best soundtrack ever, but it's got some really memorable tracks, so even if you don't have the game, at least consider checking out the soundtrack online. Just my personal thoughts though. But to finally conclude the video, if it felt like this video went by relatively quickly, that's because it went by relatively quickly. Mario Sports Mix just doesn't really have a lot to talk about, and while it isn't necessarily bad, the game isn't the most memorable. While the game is fun and looks alright with some good music, it just isn't enough to really elevate this game into anything extraordinary, anything that's that memorable, which may be why the game isn't talked about much these days. But I do think that this game is underrated. If you have some friends, try this game out at a get-together. You may have as much fun playing this as the newest Mario Kart or Mario Party. Personally, I feel Mario Sports Mix is a really solid sports game with enough variety to keep things interesting, though only for multiplayer, as single player wise, there really isn't anything to the game. So, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section if you guys remember this game and if you've played it, what your thoughts are on it in the comment section below. Also, I will be changing the structure of these videos later because a lot of sections in this video were like super goddamn short, so I will change it up for the next episode, which next episode will probably be in a more interesting game, but yeah, you'll have to wait for that to come out, which will be next month. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, even if it was really short. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out and take care.